We will proceed then with the names on the list here, and I'll try my best. I've got it, is it Jack Allison?
Yes,
Okay. And you can either stay in the place or come forward, however you wish to do it.
I go along with you vicious dog thing, but I'm a coon hunter. I've read this thing about 5 different times. There's no provisions in there for coon hunters, rabbit hunters, bird dogs. You gotta put me a provision in there. I'm not gonna quit coon hunting. I might start shooting somebody when they start after my dogs, but, I ain't threatening nobody. Don't come after.
And I think,
But you gotta have some kind of provision.
right.
I cannot coon hunt with a dog on a 4-foot leash. It's an impossibility. I can't go upside the mountain fast they used to.
They're not vicious though, are they? They're not dangerous.
Not unless somebody gets them.
I mean, this provision's only for dogs that's dangerous, that, bite somebody.
But, let me give you a but. Get one lunatic that sues the system because you took their vicious dog and didn't take my gentle dog. Challenge.
I think that can happen now.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned that before, and on section 3, I think it does mention leash. That wording can be changed to say that the owner needs to have control over their animal so that for that
Right.
instance, you don't have that wording.
Yeah.
But I think we can change that.
That'll help out a lot, but don't take their hunting dogs away from them.
And that is the provision that Mr. Hodges was referring to in section 3, where it now says leash, and saying that we help with the coon hunters and the duck hunters to make
Rabbit hunters, if they control their dog.
any kind of hunter, that's as long as they're controlling their dog.
All right, Mr. Steve Fisher.
My name is Steve Fisher. I am 70 years of age and a Jackson County resident. For the record, I am a dog lover and have owned dogs my entire life. As a result of that lifelong experience, trust me, I know the difference between a barking dog that's simply been territorial and a dangerous dog or dogs in actual attack modes. Unfortunately, there are far too many unrestrained and dangerous dogs in Jackson County, and many of these animals roam public roadways and public hunting areas in packs of 3 to 5 or more. Over the years, I have encountered extremely vicious and aggressive dogs on numerous occasions while riding my bicycle on county roads and while scouting or hunting in public wildlife management areas. On one such occasion, I was attacked by 3 very aggressive dogs, each of whom weighed at least 75 pounds or more. I sustained an injury to my left ankle that will cause me problems for the rest of my life. I would hate to think what would have happened that day if the victim of that attack had been a child instead of a full-grown man. I realize that the animal control ordinance that's being currently considered does not mandate that all dogs in the county be restrained or kept on their owner's property. It does, however, require the control and restraint of any and all vicious, dangerous, or overly aggressive dogs, and will provide a means for folks like me who have problems with these kinds of animals. They'll be able to report their experiences in a manner that will require follow-up by the appropriate county officials or law enforcement officers. Thank you for listening.
What I want to know about is, it says on here that these tags for the collars should be on there at all times where all officers can see them and read them clearly visible. It shall be presumed that the animal has not been vaccinated. A rabbit dog, how long is that tag going to stay on his collar in the woods, and growlers and stuff like that.
What is currently?
That's the state law that is supposed to be good. I've talked to the sheriff when I first took this because I've got one of the canine trackers. I put his rabies tag on him, first time I took him on the track, it's gone.
Yeah.
I do not enforce that. The only thing that I do, if I get a call to a house when I get there, that's the first thing I ask for is, no matter what the call is, if it's a dog there, I ask if it's current on the rabies tag and I ask to see it. As long as they produce the paperwork showing that it's current,
I've
then
got
they're good.
paperwork, mine calls back.
Right, well, that's good.
And I rabbit hog.
Yeah.
And they stay on there about 15 minutes when you put them on there and hit them
That-
broad wood.
That's exactly why I don't enforce the tag thing, because a dog running loose, there's no way, if it's got a collar and it's running out loose in the wood, it's going, that little tag, the tag's not gonna stay on. So as long as, if I get a call to your house and I come to your house and I say, hey, has your dog's got rabies, you produce me the rabies paper, I'm good. Nothing else, so.
That's what this refers to. It'll allow him to ask for that, basically. Okay. Tammy Davis?
I first have a question in what Mr. Porter was reading earlier. He said that if the dog has attacked a human, that and y'all heard it was vicious, it could be put down. What if it was a dog and they had attacked animals over and over again for a history of 3 years? Y'all said that all y'all can do is make sure they put them up and don't let them out. Well, I'm being drugged through court right now where my dog got attacked and killed by these 2 dogs. They've had a history for 3 years of killing animals on our street. And I'm the one being drugged through court right now because of it. And I don't feel like, they said they're keeping the dogs up. They've recently got out again. Ever since court, I'm being drugged through jury court right now, and I don't feel like that just making sure they keep them put up is enough when they have attacked as many times and killed as many animals as these 2 dogs have.
What's the provision right now, or under this, if it passes for attack on?
That if it is an attack upon an animal, not a human causing serious physical injury, it is required to be kept up. That's all.
That's my question. Why would they not be put down if they have attacked? Because we have a lot of kids on our street, and it may not be an animal next time. And if they've attacked as many times as these dogs have, why can they not be put down also? Because it could be one of our kids next time.
This also says that provision says it's upon the discretion of the animal. So they get to make that determination.
They make that determination initially when the animal is impounded, but the ultimate decision is up to the court.
Is there any fine in place if it does attack animals, or is that something?
It is.
It is. So there is a fine in place.
Thank you.
Okay, Forrest Clemens?
I commend you guys for pushing forward this in the way you're doing it with public hearings, and we've tried on the previous commission. I think that most of us understand that in this county, my dog goes where my dog wants to go, and if my dog ever bit anybody, then I would be more than glad to put it up. But I'm glad that you didn't change the culture of the county, and you understand the rural environment, still allow people to have their dogs running along through. But I do believe you guys are doing the right thing, but trying to find a way to keep the vicious animals out of the way. I believe the hunters have to be protected, and I believe, I commend you for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Bruce Reinhardt?
I don't have anything to say right now. I'm gonna read this a little bit more thoroughly. I just got it.
Okay. Mark Day?
Believe it or not, my name's Mark Dutton, and I am actually the mayor of Dutton. I've talked with Rocky and several of the commissioners back years ago, and I know we're not debating the jump ordinance, but when that came up, we were told, since we were a municipality, that it wouldn't affect us. I think most of the folks around Dutton that I've talked to, since we rely on the sheriff's department for our law enforcement, we would like to make sure that it's worded to where that we're under that. There's Pleasant Grove, Langston, Dutton, another couple of little municipalities that are incorporated, but we don't have our own police department. And I know that we are rural, and we're not shooting rockets here, we're just trying to raise dogs and families. But we do need some protection. I just wanted to be sure that y'all considered this to the extent that our little community would be protected under the ordinance. Thank you.
It would be possible for any municipality to adopt this along with it, correct? James Stewart?
All I can say is, if the system is broke, fix it, but it ain't broke. We don't need this dog ordinance. This is nothing more than the sheriff wanting to put on a couple more deputies to enforce this ordinance so that he can get and collect more money. And just think about the process you're gonna have to go through to get this dog, one way or the other, get him good or killed. I had some neighbors that had dogs and they run out on the road every time my wife would walk down the road. Well, I told her, I said, get yourself a gun and kill him. We had no more problem then. That ended the problem. Get yourself a gun and kill him. And if you can't take care of your own problems, you don't need to be in this county.
Thank you, sir. Ellen O'Connor?
I am his wife. And yes, we did have a problem down the road. It wasn't, Mr. McAllister was not on that duty at the time. It was another gentleman. And I did call him. And he said to me, do they lunge at you? Have they bitten you? I said, no. But there were three of them. They all lived at the same house, okay? And they were all different sizes. And the one was the leader, and they came that close to bite me. I used to throw rocks at him until I could get away from him. When I talked to the officer about this, he told me the same thing that you said. He couldn't do anything about it unless the dog bit me. And I asked him what he was going to do if the dog bit me, and he said, oh, I'll talk to the people who own the dog. Needless to say, nothing happened. Luckily, the people moved. We didn't have to shoot the dogs. But I did start carrying my pistol. I do have a pistol for him to carry. And I told that officer that. And he said, don't shoot them out in the middle of the road. Make sure that they stay on their property. And if you shoot them on their property, make sure you have a witness that they were coming at you. End of my discussion.
David McGriff?
The question I have is, what about a nuisance dog? Is there any wording? I haven't read
Or barking and things like that.
well, killing cows, or they're not necessarily a vicious dog. I've had 2 or 3 dogs get together and come in the pasture and kill a baby cat. You know, they played with it, but the cats did it. It's not necessarily a vicious dog. My concern is we're looking too much for the owner. I need some protection if I have to kill that dog. You know, I don't want to kill anybody's dog, but I numerously go out with a rifle and try to shoot around them, and most times you scare them off. But the sheriff's not going to get there in time to save the baby cat. So I need some protection as a cattle producer for nuisance dogs. That's what we call them, rather than vicious dogs.
The goal I would think, at least from what I would see, would not be to allow people to shoot the dog. That's, I think, outside of what we can authorize. But if it does occur, to have some type of repercussion. And that's what we need to ensure or see if that's something to be included. If it attacks cattle, it may attack once, but if that dog gets away, then we'll go through this process to protect you from any further instances of happening with that animal. That's my personal thoughts on it.
Can we even legally do anything to help this gentleman?
I don't think that the county has the authority to give you immunity. It's a state issue. because it's a state statute regarding the killing boundary. So that would have to come through a state ordinance or a local act that is applicable to the state. I don't think the county has